Good to see you all. This week I'm going to carry on with the flower painting project that we started last week. So I'll do a quick recap if one or two people worked on it here, and obviously everything's on the videos as well if you want to. So last week I went through drawing, so just kind of drawing the flower. So I used this image here of this one. And the idea was perhaps start off with some light guidelines. So if you're using pencil, just press on lightly, and then once you've got an idea of where the middle would be and the overall shapes that you could fit the petals into, I then got a few lines just coming out to give me the directions of the petals. And that gave me like a framework or structure I could then get these edges drawn on. So it's just a way of breaking down the drawing, making it a little bit easier, rather than just starting straight away with, either the centre or a particular petal. So that's a little bit on drawing skills. This one I didn't do in this class, but it's something that another kind of drawing, or actually I did sort of hint at it at the end, but I didn't do a great job. This kind of drawing is more of it's like a diagram, it's what they call a compositional drawing. Some people call them like thumbnail sketches. And this kind of drawing is really just setting, it's like a visualisation for your painting. And these are a great thing to do, particularly if you're starting out painting. I quite often get a little, a lot of my paintings are quite small anyway, so something like this. These are some of the paintings I did in Scotland over summer. So something like this, I might just start it out on a board very loosely, but then I might think, well, actually the board isn't quite right, or the shape isn't right, so I'll just wipe it all out and then start another one, perhaps different shaped board. So in a way, I'm having a go at some sort of compositional drawing, but what I'd encourage you to avoid is just starting somewhere and just seeing if it all ends up in the right place, because sometimes it doesn't. So they're a good idea. So this would be like the plan for the painting. What I want to do next is maybe just a study of maybe one flower, because I'm not a flower painter. As you know, it's mostly landscapes that I do. So, and I'm thinking watercolours, which again is a medium I use a little bit, but it's not the main one. So I've really just picked this flower out of the middle of this. So yeah, this little compositional drawing was based on that. I was thinking perhaps a little bit simpler. What I did change was I moved this flower out a little bit, and I got rid of that one. So these are really nice reference photos, but they look a bit clunky if you just absolutely replicated it. So with painting, you want to come up with a design. You want to try and improve on what you've got. Maybe do a little bit of thinning. So I thought that was quite a nice shape. With this kind of drawing, I start off drawing this sort of frame and leave a little bit of paper either side, and then that way you can then sort of make it a little bit bigger, or you can bring it in a little bit. So by drawing a rectangle and then, or square, or whatever shape you want, and then working within that, you've got a chance to. And then once you're there, you pick your board, you pick your canvas or the paper shape that you want. So that's that bit. So this bit, what I'll demonstrate today is really just a little bit of watercolour study. So I'm going to use that one, but that's also quite nice. It's flopping down. I need to get my other clips out. Anyway. Yeah, take it to it. Anyway, I'm going to use this one anyway. So colour-wise, these are like a really, really pale pink. And we're working on white paper, so it's very easy to get far too strong with the colour. So I'm just going to use, I've got a little bit of magenta here, which is probably the closest sort of colour I can get. Maybe I'll try a little bit of that. That's a cadmium red as well. Make sure that brush is clean. Yeah, I think I'll use that. That's quite nice. With just a tiny bit of the cadmium red. Just mixed in. So you want plenty of paint mixed. With watercolours, what I see pretty much every week is my students working far too dry, and you know, a brush like this doesn't hold tons of water, so sometimes just getting a mop brush that, you know, you can just pour plenty of water in there. So that way you've got plenty of paint mixed. I'll show you that there. And I can just try a little bit there. That's pretty good, but maybe even paler. I think I'd rather go paler still, so just add a little bit more water to the brush. So something like a magenta or a rose colour would be ideal for these. The other thing was I've got this book on this watercolour flower painting that somebody gave me. I thought they were rather nice, so I think that's quite interesting how they've got kind of quite a soft and hard edge effect. So the idea of perhaps keeping some edges quite soft and some a little bit sharper might be interesting. So I'll pop some pencils in. And yeah, almost just water on its own there, just to lift a little bit of that out. Where they just meet the, I don't know what you call that bit, it's slightly stronger, so I just add a tiny bit of pigment. So I don't want this too watery, otherwise it will push the colours out, but just perhaps have a little bit more colour just in there. And watercolour is very much about just getting used to the feel of the paint, how wet, how dry it will be. That's already drying because I've got the paper vertical. The next thing is to get. The next bit would be to get these orangey colours in. So again, let's just mix an orangey colour. So got some cadmium yellow. And these are student quality colours, so it's not proper cadmium, it's a lot more transparent, which is kind of what I want. But it's a similar hue, but just not as opaque. And then pop some of that in, maybe a little bit more of the magenta in with that to make it a bit more orangey. Pop that in there. And if it's still wet here, it wouldn't too much of a problem if it bleeds in. I don't want it to bleed in that much though. So when you're painting, you'll have your board at maybe that sort of angle. You know, you don't want it completely flat, but this is far too steep. But this is so you can see what I'm doing. So that would be the first stage, and then we could perhaps put some of these darker tones in. I'm thinking to add a little bit of purple to this mix, which will get a nice browny, purpley brown colour. So again, I don't want this too wet. A little bit like that. And perhaps try and leave a little bit of space to indicate these bits here. And I might just go to, probably danger of completely ruining it now. I'm just going to go to a smaller brush, and while that's just still damp, I can probably get a little bit of these kind of crisscross marks, but I don't really want them too sharp. So something a bit like that. Just ignore the runs, because that's far too wet. But that's the sort of thing. What might be nice now actually is just to go even deeper still, just under here. Really quite dry. So just purple, so it's just, that's probably best to leave that. Yeah, just thinking perhaps you just get a tiny bit darker down the bottom. There. That brush, that might do it. You might get away with that. Yeah, perhaps just some really deep tones. Well, I use the yellow. So I haven't actually put fresh colour out, but this colour I just sprayed it last night. So this was from last term, and it's kind of rehydrated it on my palette. So Yeah, something like that, which is sort of nice dark. And to be honest, that's quite a nice watercolour look. You don't have to have every single, needle. So what I do is I'll let that dry, and then I would probably try and cut in some sort of background, some sort of greens around it. Is that okay? See how turn that back the other way. See if we can rescue that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
The colour is the orange and the brown. What colour do you use?
I used, so for the brown, I used cadmium yellow,
Yes.
which is, I think it's cadmium yellow medium, which is, comes out like that. A bit more than magenta.
Magenta, okay.
Yep. And I've used some purple,
Purple, magenta.
which is, yeah, and that kind of makes, because it's like a slightly purpley brown, that makes quite a nice, rich kind of purpley brown.
Thank you.
I've probably got most of the colours here if you need to borrow anything.
Okay.